Hey everybody, Charlotte from Char Loves Books here today, and I'm going to be reviewing Commencement by Courtney Sullivan. This is a novel set at Smith, which is a women's college in Massachusetts. These four girls are put in a quad together and their lives are totally different. They come from different backgrounds, they're going towards different futures, but they become unlikely best friends throughout their 4 years at this college that has a lot of traditions from being old and also all women's, because there's so little all women's college left in general. It's about their friendships and all this drama that happens. It starts as a frame story in retrospect, and each chapter is a different girl, and they sort of connect the chapter between their current life and memories from Smith. The novel sort of starts in the future, reconnects to the past, and then it just flows together nicely. The four girls are Celia, Bree, April, and Sally, and those are some pretty... they're all short names, aren't they? Celia is basically the Manhattan socialite. By the time she's graduated, she's looking to write and to publish and sort of dead end. She's from Boston, she's Catholic. There's that rich family life going on. There's Bree, who comes in engaged to a man in the South, but then she leaves with a girlfriend, and it's sort of how her Southern family reacts to that. Then there's April, who's a radical feminist, and they all sort of worry about her radicalism. And Sally, who lost her mother right before she got to school and is reeling from that, but also becomes the most, I'd say, typical of them afterwards. She was going to go to med school, but then she sort of settles into this home life as a homemaker. No, she's not a homemaker. She works in a lab. And it's how the girls sort of look at her, where they're disappointed that she didn't go to med school, and they all have these high expectations. And it was put very beautifully once in the book that all the girls held each other to a very high standard, so when one of them didn't succeed, it was sort of like their own personal loss. I really liked this book. It's split into two parts. The first part was a lot better because it was basically just character building, and as I managed hopefully to describe very briefly, they're all very different and very individualized. But the second part sort of, Courtney Sullivan tried to throw in a plot, and since it wasn't even present in the first part, it was sort of like, you didn't need to throw in that plot, Courtney Sullivan. And if you've read it, I'm not gonna spoil it, but like, it's a very odd plot. Like, it's thrown out of nowhere, and like, it ended the whole novel. My big disappointment about this book, not that it's a disappointment, I would definitely read this as a summer read, was the end. The end was kind of just a little ridiculous, and it had to do with that plot that I mentioned. But the character building in this novel is enough to read it alone. Girls are kind of, they're just extremely realistic, which I guess is kind of hard to get in novels, and especially young adult a lot, because like, how can you relate to like Katniss Everdeen? Like, I don't think you've been in the Hunger Games. But even though this is a novel and it's just fiction, you know what I mean. So I loved seeing how they also dealt with each other. April would look down on Sally's sort of basic feminism, but then Sally would worry a lot about April's radical feminism and stuff like that. Like, this book manages to touch on everything because it's obviously a female-driven book. It touches on the rape culture, feminism, as I said, also just the fact that like Sally seems to settle down, but is she really settling down if that's what she wants? Touches on death, LGBT, like, it's a very good book for being like what I'd say is a beach read. Eventually gave it 3 stars because I really was disappointed with the thrown in plot in the second half that has to do a lot with April. I wouldn't even say though in the end that I had a favorite girl. I loved reading from all of their different voices. That's kind of rare because usually I do choose a favorite, but I do really love it even though I just gave it 3 stars. I got it at a book sale a few years ago. So yes, I would recommend this for summer 2016. This is a decently old book, I think like 2011. No, it's 2009. We're good. But definitely one of those books you should resurface if you're looking for something a little more adult than young adult. So thank you for watching, guys. Please subscribe for more. Goodbye.